What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for June 1st, 2026. This was one of the slower weeks we've seen all year. The .1 is not in any PTU, no mention of events or anything like that, and mining has finally broke me. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first Week in Review, well, this one's going to be slightly different, but we usually cover all the official Star Citizen news each week, and I share some of my opinions about it. But we're pretty light on that official news, so I'm going to share some of my thoughts on mining and why I think it needs to change, and why I think it needs to change a lot. But before we do, let me share with you today's sponsor. Thank you to Manta Sleep for sponsoring today's video. I have been using these guys for years now, and man, they've been really huge for me. I have always struggled with sleep. If it wasn't falling asleep initially, it was falling back asleep after waking up in the middle of the night. The Manta Silk Sleep Mask is my go-to from when I'm working late. I just got home from hockey. It's nearly midnight. I don't want to bother my wife and wake her up, so I will sleep down here in the office. But there are a ton of electronics in here. 3 computers, a television, studio lights. It's not easy to sleep in this room. I love the Manta Silk Sleep Mask because it has 100% blackout eye cups to avoid all that light, but it's not really bulky at all. It's incredibly soft because it's made with super soft, ultra premium mulberry silk. And yeah, I live in Florida. It's hot here. We're already in the dead of summer, and if it's too hot, it's hard to sleep. So what I've been doing is pairing the silk mask with these Manta Cool eye cups that I leave in the freezer, and it's really helping. So if you're proudly pro-nap like I am, head to the description or the pinned comment and use my link, and use code SaltEMike for 10% off your order at mantasleep.com today. Once again, that's code SaltEMike for 10% off. And with all the bills paid, let's get into some patch notes, updates. All right, and all we got was a hotfix central this week, and yeah, it was the only official updates for patches. And yeah, I was expecting that bi-weekly .1 patch update, something about that, and nothing. But yeah, so I think there are so many core issues like this that are showing up that maybe they're pushing things back that they're trying to fix here with hotfixes. So maybe this is a good thing that it's a slow week because they're focusing on getting things where they need to be. And all I've done is stuck to gem mining and looking for good gems, and that doesn't suffer as much from the issues that people have been having. I started to lose my patience with scan times and things like that. We'll talk more about that in a little while. How are you guys getting on with 4.8 though? I'm just not enjoying it as much as I thought I would. And yeah, that's the end of patch notes. No monthly report, no roadmap update, as they're not kind of scheduled for this period. But again, next week will probably be monthly report and roadmap update. So no video, nothing. So let's jump into other updates. And of course, we actually did get a sneak peek. So we did get something, but I can't recall a week this year where we didn't see something that was a sneak peek that wasn't something that you didn't have to buy on the store. The last one I could think of was when they showed rock breaker mirrors. And this has essentially been like another fun thing that I used to look forward to each week that is now kind of completely taken over by marketing and the pledge store. So anyway, what is this? It looks like something that we'll see in the subscriber store. It looks like a hanger / base building weapon case kind of thing. Weapons locker. The cool element is the ammo drawer, I think. Curious how that'll work. Will it only take ammo, or will we be able to put other things in it? But I do hope we see some cool stuff from Siege of Orison here, Municipal Works, events, or something game-related in sneak peeks soon, because yeah, they're one of the best things to discuss on this channel, on this video each week with you guys in the comments and trying to guess what it is. It's super fun. Usually, you know, the ships are pretty fun to guess too, but the gameplay stuff, when like again, that Rockbreaker mirror one was like, ooh, okay, so Rockbreaker's coming, awesome. And then let's move on to dev posts. We have a couple things here. Let's start out with an error I'm glad I've avoided so far, but many of you have not. It's this 60K error where people just like cannot log into the game for whatever reason. Bearded, who's been with the company forever, since the very beginning, pretty much, posted on Reddit about it and has it written up as a bug, but the things that he usually tries to fix accounts with just aren't working for this. So we have to wait for a more in-depth fix from someone else. The second one is, again, about bugs and issues. This time around the Ironclad, a ship I would love to be using, but it has so many problems. This is how things are, but Niku kind of posted us to let us know the status of these issues, right? It's just, hey, when they don't test ships and put them out to us, this is what's going to happen, right? Great job, guys, over there at Cloud Imperium Games. The two biggest issues is like the SCM switching and command module switching. They are fixed internally and waiting to see when they're implemented. We have seen bugs that were marked as fixed before, and then they're not fixed. So as soon as this patch comes out, I'll be checking it out and reporting to you guys how those potential fixes fared. And yeah, that was other updates. And normally we would end the video here, but I don't want to. I want to talk about something that I think is really near and dear to my heart, really important, and the only thing that's keeping me around Star Citizen nowadays, and it needs some help, and that's mining. So let's talk about that next. Okay, so since it's been a bit of a slow week on the official news side of things, I've been really thinking hard about something I want to see how you guys are feeling about. I want to see mining flipped completely on its head. This is simply not working for me anymore. Mining has hit a level of importance that I was dreaming it would have years ago. Crafting is in the game in almost full force, and in order to get the best possible gear, there's only one way. Somebody has to mine a lot of high quality ore. But I want to quote someone that I really respect, but I'll keep who they are private. You know who you are. There's a lot of cool things in Star Citizen, but they still haven't given me a gameplay loop I'm fond of yet. I thought bounty hunting would be it. Nope. Cargo missions? No. Big elaborate combat experiences? Nope. All things I like in theory and in other games, and should enjoy in this one, but I don't, because Star Citizen has weird barriers or pacing issues, right? Now, I've mined this patch more than I ever have in Star Citizen, and it is painful, and it really has issues with pacing and some very weird barriers. A combination of many things is causing this, in my opinion. The most obvious one is scanning. The solutions they have spoken about do not solve the core issue. Declan posted on Spectrum about this a couple months ago, saying that they want to add secondary materials like carbon for steel refining, and the quality just won't be as much of a factor on the end product, or at all in this case, but just the lower the quality, the more of it you will need. Will that help us want more material? Maybe, probably a little bit, but this doesn't solve the fact that ore is 5 to 20 kilometers away from each other. A cluster you might scan for minutes to see if the quality is good enough. And then if it is, you break the rock, and then you have to scan every piece again, and then you need to break it again, possibly, and you do the scan again to see if those pieces are worth picking up. This experience is exactly what I no longer want to see in Star Citizen. So what drew me to mining to this game in the first place? It's pretty simple. I love MMOs. I love their economies and how crafting and gathering can literally be what makes them run. But what Star Citizen did with mining was really special. It was not mindless, it was active. The minigame for mining is what makes Star Citizen mining so special, and I never want to see that go away. But in the example I gave just a second ago, how much time did I spend scanning, and how much time did I spend doing the minigame of mining? I would be lucky if I spent 3% of my actual session mining. That's what I want to see change at its core. Normally, this is where I would stop on my feedback. I have so much faith in people like Torsten and his team that they get it, but like most teams at the company, they're probably doing way too many things at one time. We know that they're on engineering, and look at how that went, to really just stop and see how far off the experience really is that they're trying to deliver. So what triggered this conversation? Well, it was a new game that just came out that's all about mining. It's called Star Miner. I do not want to make Star Citizen Star Miner or EVE Online mining like people in the comments will surely claim. Absolutely not. That's not what I'm trying to do here. But can Star Citizen learn why those games feel better to me? And maybe change something? Yes. So when I mine in those games, I spend very little time scanning, if at all. And I spend my time mining. In Star Miner, you mine asteroids that are quite large. When you scan, it reveals where each material, the rock, like what each material is, like where it is on the rock, which is super cool. And as you mine the rock, it slowly shrinks, which kind of feels satisfying as well, but you're mostly just static there, lasers on. Kind of boring, right? That's not exactly what I want to bring to the game. I think it's something entirely different, and Star Citizen was already set up to kind of solve this problem. Why did it feel better, right? Well, they kind of screwed that up, because 4.7 and 4.8, they made a change that basically ruined everything. In nearly every game I've enjoyed mining in, but specifically Star Miner and EVE Online, cargo and logistics is the way ships are balanced for those games. How do they achieve this? By requiring a lot of material to craft, and inventories on ships are limited. Star Citizen has limited cargo on their mining ships as well, but with the advent of quality introduced into the game and the time it takes to find a good rock, it could be hours or possibly more than one session to fill a golem, let alone a mole. Logistics or cargo capacity is a non-factor in this game now, but it is nowhere near as important. I guess it's not a non-factor, but it's nowhere near as important as it used to be. The hunt for 900 plus is absolutely terrible, and it's not fun even when you find it. There's just not a lot of it, right? So let me get to the point. I usually don't want to give solutions. I like to share my issues and let developers do their job and solve those issues, right? As they're the developers. They certainly know more about game development than I do. But I think CIG is so far from where Star Citizen mining needs to be, and I have to at least give an example of what I might want to see. I want to mine. I don't want to scan endlessly. In Star Miner, every single rock on the map is worth mining to some extent. I might need it more at a given time, but you need everything, right? That's not the case in Star Citizen. So I'm searching for a certain ore. I should be able to find that in minutes in Star Citizen. Maybe it should be listed on the star map or the RABs, for example, like in Pyro, right? And I should know what is at each location. It should be just much easier to deal with. CIG actually has done a much better job with this in 4.7 and 4.8, but I think the best way to improve it is this. And this is how I want Star Citizen to change mining completely. Before I lay this out, because I don't want any of you to get mad, I do not want to take the spirit of Star Citizen or the spirit of Star Citizen mining out of the game. I will forever hear El Guapo in my head talking about, I just remember this video where he talked about what he loved about mining. And I'm paraphrasing, but it was something around, I love the challenge and skill it takes to break big rocks solo in a mole. And that's like his driving force for the game, right? It's that skill. And if you don't know him, check out his channel. He has got awesome guides for mining, a fun live stream. He basically is Star Citizen mining. So I hope he doesn't hate my ideas too much. But we have to discuss this. Where does the spirit of Star Citizen mining come from? What is the skill? What separates Star Citizen from Star Miner, EVE, and Elite, and every other MMO? It's that minigame. That's got to stay. No exceptions. The minigame is all about staying in a green zone, and that challenge is what we have now with the consequence of exploding. And that has to stay too. Instability and resistance, all of that can play a factor. They don't have to change any code from that standpoint to make mining better, in my opinion. But the mining minigame could be more about how fast you consume the material, or how fast you fill your cargo hold and turn in, and how much value you might have created for your time. But it doesn't have to be this break, scan kind of thing. Similar to Star Miner, I would love to just visually see where different materials are on multi-material rocks in the game and just be able to target them by pointing at them. This makes single-seater miners easier to move around a rock and get what you need, while a mole might require more coordination. I will talk more on ship balance in a moment, though. If I'm going to mine a rock, I want to park there and mine it. I want to see less rocks. I want the ones I see to be large, and I want them to have so much material inside that I want that rock to fill my cargo hold. I want to need cargo haulers. Maybe I have to leave and come back. Maybe more than once if I'm in a single-seater ship. Maybe more than once if I'm in a mole. Why not? Because you don't have to balance single-seater mining ships as much if we do it this way against multi-crew ships like the Mole, Arastra, or even the Orion. The current balance with mining ships is so broken. The static cargo capacity and number of lasers is the balance in mining that I want to see. You don't need to do size restrictions as much anymore. That's one of the most important issues to me right now. I don't want to be restricted from anything. I am so tired of wanting to fly a prospector or a golem, actually getting lucky, finding a high quality rock, and seeing the word impossible. A prospector can have its own progression with size 1 to 3 lasers even. Every mining ship could be able to hold every mining size laser, but they can differentiate by maybe not being as efficient as a fully crewed mole because there's 3 lasers on that one, right? Or each laser has a different kind of quality to it. It does something differently than another. But what's awesome about this ship balance thing is the mole will obviously be slower, but it will also have more cargo, giving it a plus and a minus. But if it's crewed, it's just going to outclass a prospector because it's more efficient, not more powerful. A concept that CIG has never seemed to understand or just hasn't nailed down yet. They always sell strength because that is what drives people to want to buy things, right? For real money. Look at the Odin. That is just overpowered. Now, a mole could chew through a rock much faster if it's crewed because it's not about luck either. This RNG stuff with the finding the rock that you want and it being the right, it's been that way since the beginning of mining, and it's just changed in different ways from the what's in the rock to what the quality of the rock is. And yeah, again, a mole could chew through a rock much faster if it's crewed, because again, it's not about luck, it's about power. It's about efficiency with your time. It's about the skill your crew can make with how much alpha UEC they can make an hour, or eventually one day UEC an hour. Real progression that you can feel in Star Citizen. Better lasers can increase mining speed or efficiency, or maybe they can grab a wider cone of rocks and you can grab 2 different materials at once. Who knows? With the drawbacks like making it harder to stay in the green zone or maybe burn off rocks. Kind of sounds like salvaging a little bit in Star Citizen, which I have found myself to appreciate a lot more because it's more simple. It's more clear of what you're doing. But with that, kind of more at stake with mining, because you can actually blow up the rock and still destroy yourself with what changes I want to see. So what do you think? I want a world where mining is still a challenge, but I'm actually mining when I'm in a mining ship. I want to see the progression be about efficiency and not power. And with that, balance between ships could be so much easier. The goal should be to gather as much material as possible in the shortest amount of time. Whether you are a solo or a group mining in Star Citizen, it should not require RNG loot crate mechanics to decide if that session was good or not. It should be about being good at gathering, right? Not good at getting lucky. I log in and I mine because that's what a miner wants to do. And that's our show. Hopefully next week we'll have more 4.8 updates, even 4.9 updates. We'll certainly have a roadmap update and hopefully more. But with that, make sure if you enjoyed the show, leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next week. But yeah, that was a big rant, big change. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments. I feel really strongly about this, really strongly. And I think this is what Star Citizen needs.